Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Siren Frost, and today I'm doing a new deck profile video for this week. I know it's gonna be, it's one of those weeks, of course. But before I get into this video, I actually want to say Happy Thanksgiving to all of you for this amazing Thursday morning, or, well, yeah, I guess it's more correct. Yeah, I guess to me it's more morning time than anything else, but, you know, it is what it is. So this is a new deck profile video featuring Daiyusha, and listen you guys, I'll be honest with you, this deck to me is the last deck I want to do. Mainly because me and Dimension Police don't get along. Like, a long time ago, I used to remember I got my ass handed to me a lot of times by Dimension Police. I think it was with the Enigmatic Storm, or Enigmas, and that was a whole new thing, and I didn't like that one too well. And since it has been quite a while since I've seen Dimension Police, ever since before Set 3 kind of happened, I had to look up on the name Kenji Mitsusada. If you guys hear some noise in the background, it's my friend making a sandwich. You know, my roommate in the back. So he's making a sandwich. But anyways, the owner of this deck, of course, his name is Kenji Mitsusada, aka Kote, which is Japanese for Emperor, because, you know, there's a team in the original series of Vanguard called Team Caesar, so that's where it kind of is. Now, I had to look up the new mechanic for the ride line, of course, and because I didn't know what the hell it kind of meant. And let's see here. It's been a while, of course. Here it is. So I took a screenshot, obviously. The Dimensional Robo ride line uses base orders, which focuses on combining units onto the Vanguard via placing units from the drop or deck into the soul, which unlocks multiple abilities. So this strategy reminds me of the Galactic B Heroes series when they rely on the base Aegis itself. But this is for Daiyusha, so that makes more sense anyways. Now, quick backstory on Kenji Mitsusada. If I remember correctly, he's a leader of Team Caesar, and his two companions, Yuri and her brother, all used Dimension Police when they formed Team Caesar. Originally, Yuri's deck is pretty much an Oracle think tank when she first started playing, and who thought? Battle Sisters. He also was one of the few people who became reversed thanks to Link Joker's infection. So basically means Daiyusha became super dimensional Robo reverse Daiyusha. I'll have to see what that one was about, but I know it's a reverse Daiyusha unit, and that deck right there is a shit ton of depowering your opponent. So I assume this was the max mechanic here, and believe it or not, I assumed wrong. So it has some mechanics like Dimension Police, the old-fashioned one, but this is like a whole new ball game for me. So, anyways, that's a small little backstory, you know, with Kenji Mitsusada, aka Kote, and let's get on with the deck itself. So, of course, we have the Energy Generator card for the 5th card for the ride deck, which basically means you can't play any decks anymore, which is 4. You have to play with the 5th one because this is the key to your new mechanic, which is some units that now have to use the energy blast and energy charge power, so that's why. So for grade 0, we're playing Dimensional Robo Goyusha, which is the main essential card in the deck, because as long as you have this card in the soul, a lot of things do happen with some mechanics abilities. Another card we have to have in the soul is Dimensional Robo Dailander. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, search your deck for up to 1 base card. Reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle the deck. When this unit is placed on Rearguard from your soul by your card's ability, and by the way, that little sentence right there goes for all the Dimensional Robos. As long as your Vanguard is Daiyusha, all of your Vanguards in this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of turn. So that's the grade 1 we chose. Grade 2, we have Dimensional Robo Daidragon. When this unit is rolled upon by a grade 3 card Daiyusha in its card name, call this to the rear guard. When this unit is placed on rear guard from your soul by your card's ability. And then of course if your Vanguard is Daiyusha, which obviously that is, this gains a skill. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, this unit gets a rearguard skill. When your Vanguard is attacked, retire this unit, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 15,000 power until the end of that battle and 5k power. So Daidragon also gets 5,000 power, while Daiyusha gets 15,000 on top of that. So that's a nice little skill to it. So there's that. And of course we have the main guy himself, Super Dimensional Robo Daiyusha. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1, draw 1 card. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose any number of your units, each with Dimensional Robo and their different card names, and they get 5k power until the end of turn. That's a 1 turn only for that one. The next 1 turn auto skill is, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, put a card from your hand into soul, stand this unit, and it gets drive -2. In other words, just a free attack, no drive checks. That's the downside to it. But, at the end of turn, if your bind zone does not have, and I mean does not have Dimensional Robo Goyusha, and if you Persona Road, I would say if, and you Persona Road this turn, bind a Dimensional Robo Goyusha from your soul, and this unit gets drive +1 until the end of turn. So, it's either you bind a Goyusha in the soul, that's why either you keep the Goyusha in the soul, and other mechanic shit, like magical shit supposed to happen here, but like I said, you guys, I am not very custom with this deck because I never played Dimensional Police. I was thinking about it at first, but then I realized it's just not my playstyle, but this deck seems a little bit more interesting, and you know what? I made a promise this year, don't knock it until you try it, so I'm giving this a chance to see what it can do. Maybe y'all can have better guidance for me to learn better, and or at least a guideline. You know, I'm open for suggestions at this point. But that is the confirmed ride deck, and of course I'm using the blue sleeves. Normally I use this for Dark State or anything else, but since Kotei's Vanguard circle color is blue, I figure it's more of a tribute to him, I guess. I think he's long since dead. I don't, no offense to anybody, but I really think it's because of the new era. I don't think he's going to be coming back in time soon, but that's just me. Remember, these old encounter decks are meant to be reflections of the past when they were manifest into something else, so that's why. Now, for onto the main deck, we have grade zeros, and we have 20 grade zeros in this deck, so it's kind of like Trickstar with Nirvana and Nirvana Jiva, with the added Trickstar being the last grade zero for the deck. Okay, now for triggers, of course, we're starting with 4 heals, which is Ultra Rate Sphere Dragon, so 4 of this guy, 4 copies of Chain Light Cluster. I couldn't find any more robotic kind of critical triggers other than one we have right now, so I figured this is gonna fit the bill pretty much. Next we have 4 copies of Patrol Robo Dekarcop, which is, it grants you the more soul ability and plus 2k power to your units, so that'll be an easy fun thing. Now I'm playing 3 fronts, which is Cardinal, Draco, and Enpyro, which is the 20k shield value, and plus there's a chance you can run fronts in this deck as well. I know a lot of people like to say draws are better, but to me fronts have always been amazing to have, especially with an effect like with adding 5k power to the shield when you have a 15k. So it does, it's just a good magic right there. Next we have is Star Dragon Deity of Infinitude Eldobreath for our overtrigger of choice, which I think is the only overtrigger of choice at this point in time. Now, I know everybody else fucking hates this because it grants you double your power and double the critical, and if you already have like 3 criticals on under your belt, you gain 3 more criticals, making you a 6 crit beat stick, gigantic piece of shit that you are. People say this may seem like a very douchebag kind of move, but I doubt it. The last order card would do is a set order exclusively for Daiyusha, Super Dimensional Fortress Daibase. Basically what these active skills are, it requires your resting in these base. Order Zone, the first one, if your Vanguard is Dimensional Robo and its card name, rest is card, and an energy charge 1. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or less card with Dimensional Robo and its card name from your drop, and you may put it into Soul. If this card was if this card was put into your order zone this turn, you may search your deck instead of choosing from drop and put that card into soul. If you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Of course, that's generic. The other one is a Soul Blast. If you have a Vanguard with Dimensional Robo in its card name, Soul Energy Blast 2, and rest this card. Choose up to one grade 2 or less card with Dimensional Robo in its card name from your soul and call to rear guard. So that's why the whole deck is pretty much all about Dimensional Robos, including Daiyusha, which means you can put him in there as well. But that's what I think this deck is more essential about. You can play any critical trigger, like any kind of one you would think about, like the dragon. I just chose Cluster because it's as close to, will be comparable to this mechanic transformer kind of deck here. And yes, this is like a Transformers theme type of deck. And yes, I'm using the shade color Slade from Dragon Shields as my choice of color for Brandt Gates kind of colors. Just because I don't own Daiyusha sleeves quite yet, so that's why. The next one for grade 1s, we're maxing out all the Daiyusha supports, so we are playing 15 grade 1s in here. So we are playing more copies of the last 3 copies of Dailander. So 3 of this guy. The 4th one we have is 4 Dimensional Robo Daimariners. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, you may put this card into soul. When this unit is placed on rear guard from soul by your card's ability, if your Vanguard is Daiyusha, which obviously they are, and to the end of this turn, this unit gets 2,000 power and your opponent cannot intercept. So basically, it has Rockshay's skill, like when it's called, your opponent's grade 2s cannot intercept. So this will prevent your opponent from making any grade 2 intercepts from the back to the front to anywhere else. This card is just a killer. I'm not saying I'm being bored of it. I'm just saying, like, this is something like is all brand new to my mind. Next one we have is 4 copies of Dimensional Robo Daibattles, and it has a soul ability. So it's a 1-turn skill only, but you can activate it. If your Vanguard is Dimensional Robo Daidragon, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, and your soul has Dimensional Robo Goyusha, Dailander, and Daimariner, put a card from your hand into soul, choose up to 1 Daiyusha from your right deck, and superior write it as stand. So it has like the Ezel ability for Platinum Ezel, I think. That's where I'm assuming this is kind of happening. When this unit is placed on rear guard from soul for your card's ability, if your Vanguard is Daiyusha, which obviously it is, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your Vanguard's original critical becomes 2 and to the end of turn. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the one thing. That did it. That's what set this one off pretty much. So we already seen Daiyusha having 2 crits. Combine them with Eldobreath, you may get 4 crits. Which basically means if your opponent just so happens to be at like 3 damage, there's a chance that unless they draw an over trigger or a heal trigger, you're basically putting your opponent to the ground. And that's a dangerous combination. Especially when you're running 8 crits in this deck, you're pretty much going to make that thing increase more. And thank God we don't follow that 12 crit rule anymore in the D series, because that was ridiculous. Now I did find a perfect guard is comparable to the Robo theme, kinda. Strong arm conversion Strogalmars. It's a beetle-like Beetleborg kind of type of unit, but it's mechanical. So I figured this would be a good thing for you guys right here. It'd be comparable to the rules. So yeah, that is the grade 1 lineup. Now, grade 2s, I think we're not running too many grade 2s in this deck. Sorry, I had to take a breath from this one, because I feel like I'm almost out of breath. Now, of course, let's not forget we're playing 3 more copies of Daidragon, because we do want to max out all the support for Dimension Police the best I can. Next, we have 4 copies of Super Dimensional Robo Dailady. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if my Vanguard is Dimensional Robo, Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 base card. Reveal it and put it to your hand and shuffle the deck. Okay. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your order zone is 2 or more, has 2 or more bases, this unit gets 10,000 power entity in that battle. So, I think this will go overcharge with, not overcharge, but over the limit to normal the 13k. This is 20k. That's going to start swinging. So, this will hit a little bit more pressure, in my opinion, but I'm glad they brought back Dailady. I've always kind of liked her artwork in the beginning, so it's kind of nice to see her like this. Now, that is it for the normal units. Now, I got 5 Blitz orders in this deck we're working with. We have 3 copies of Freezing Wave. So basically, you play this card with 1 Soul Blast. Choose one of your units being attacked, and this unit it gets 10,000 power entity in that battle for each rest set order in your order zone. So basically, if you have 2, you still get like 20k value right there, or 3 or 4. That'd be a 40k shield if you're lucky. Which I don't think we're gonna get to that point anytime soon. But if we do, it is what it is. The next one we have 2 copies is my personal choice. You guys can talk about this if you want. I played 2 Blitz orders of Fluctuate Buster Barrage. Choose up to 2 grade 2 or greater unit cards with different card names from your drop and call them to the Guardian Circle. Choose one of your units and it gets 10,000 power entity in that battle. So it does add more defensive kind of build to this as well with 5 Blitz orders. But that's just me. This is my honest opinion right there. So that is my personal choice of a grade 2 play. Now for grade 3s, there's not much support for Daiyusha quite yet. So we are only playing 3 more copies of Daiyusha just for the Persona Ride ability, personification, and get the extra 10k shield to the front row and all the good gist. Now, I found something out that really pissed me off. It's only the Stride decks that are not capable of Persona Ride, but yet the units who are in counter decks are in the sets, they are allowed to do Persona Ride. So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. So Night Rose, Hari, Messiah, Chrono Jet, and all that shit, it just pissed me off. But what else is new, right? But that is it for the deck profile video of Super Dimensional Robo Daiyusha. This was I'll be honest with you guys. This deck has been quite of a pill and a challenge. But that's the agreement I did for myself, is to give every single deck a chance. So I'm glad you guys are patient to watch. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for watching. And if you guys like the content I do create on my channel, please subscribe, thumbs up, comment down below. And if you guys have any ideas of what this deck can be, let me hear it in the comments down below, as long as they're positive ones and not just trolls who are just like trying to belittle you because they say that you're not a good player. Cool. As always, you guys, I've been your host, Siren Frost, signing out.